Hi everyone, welcome back to my garage. So I'm going to see if I can work out why the Super Dream, whilst running fairly well, wasn't quite right, why it was still spitting out oil through the breather hose and why it wasn't revving out to what I think should be its limit. So with that, I'm just going to start methodically working my way through, taking your comments in that I've kindly received. So we're going to be checking the mixture, the carbs, compression, the condition of the spark plugs, just going through obvious things that might be the cause, and hopefully we can find something or improve upon it, and if not, I guess it means we need to start digging a bit deeper. But I'm not going to panic just yet, so let me get started. Unrelated to the rough running, one question I got was, where's my horn attached? I couldn't remember. Well, there it is, and it's just bolted to that bracket on the bottom of the frame. I don't know if that's normal. That's just a place that I found to attach the horn, and it seems to work. So may or not be standard, but it's answered one question I received. Okay, so I've just whipped the spark plugs out. I've been running it on the choke and cold, so the colour isn't particularly relevant at the moment. But what I'm going to do is just do a quick compression test on both sides and see what readings we get. And now, left hand side. Almost exactly the same, about 125, maybe closer to 130. Good. Okay, one perfectly valid question was the oil overfilled? I don't think it was. Let's try this. So we take it out, give this a good wipe, and I'll double check the book. You just sit that in there and then check it, and no, that is actually, if anything, towards the lower end of normal. That is not overfilled. Okay, now one thing I was thinking about is the engine. I didn't really give it very long to warm up before I was giving it beans. Maybe I was being a bit silly, and maybe the oil wasn't up to temperature, and if it was a bit thick, would it possibly be slightly slower in returning to the bottom end, which would possibly cause it to accumulate at the top end for a bit? Don't know, that was just my thinking. Anyway, let's put the spark plugs back in, and this time I'm going to fire it up and fill both exhausts immediately to see whether it's actually firing on both sides or just the one. Okay, now let's see if she fires up. That fuel might be helpful. Yeah, make sure she's got some. Okay, she should be plenty of fuel. They choke. Yep, that's getting warm. Yep. Yep, both warming up. Right, so that is definitely both cylinders firing immediately. At least today. Maybe they weren't yesterday. So she's definitely firing on both. Compression 125, 130 psi. Again, suggestion was that probably should be about 150, but I mean, it is a head that's done 60 odd thousand miles, and I didn't have it recut, so it's still on the original 60mm bore. Okay, I think I'm going to start checking carbs. So I think what I need to do, I don't have time today, but take it for a run, check the colour and condition of the spark plugs, see what that tells me. But there's something I can do now because I've been shopping. So on the test ride last weekend, I was surprised that the speedo didn't work. And then when I looked, it was very obvious why it didn't work. It's because it had no cable. So I've now purchased a cable. Should be the right one. Immediately looks to be about right, I think. Yeah, so let's get this in place. Spin the wheel, see if it records anything. Bugger! So, I've been using the bike a little more. I've ran it a bit more with the intention of adjusting the carbs and checking the condition of the spark plug, which was all perfectly good, valid suggestions that I've received. And then, whilst I was sat here, I've just pulled out the breather hose that I was sure was depositing oil on the back of the engine, and it's bone dry. It is bone dry. There is no oil coming out the breather hose, which ordinarily you'd think that's good. And then I've just had a horrifying reality. I know what this problem is, and I've known about this problem for well over a year. So I'm about to go back through my history of videos, and at one point very early on in this project I discovered that a previous owner had cracked the case of this engine when they were trying to remove it from the frame, and I knew it was cracked, but it was at the top of the engine. It's right down near the rear engine mount. And I thought, well, the oil is contained at the bottom of the engine, it's slung around, but that shouldn't be a problem. And in running it on tick over and revving it, it's not a problem. But evidently, when you're actually riding it and the revs are higher and the engine's under some strain, it clearly throws the oil around a lot harder. It's leaking out of that crack in the case. And I am gutted, absolutely gutted. It's not unresolvable, but at the very, very least, I need to try and get a replacement engine case, at least the top half of the engine case, and change it, or strip it completely and have it repaired, which I don't know how to do that. I don't know how this type of case can be repaired. Either way, yeah, it runs, but that's why I thought oil was coming out this breather hose and dropping down the back, but it isn't. It's coming from that crack. I'm going to have to drop the engine. I'm going to have to either strip this one or replace it. And I've got the other engine for the scrambler, but I do not want to put that in this bike because I've fitted the kickstart to that, and I want the kickstart on my scrambler. So where do I go from here? I think I'm going to have to start searching for a replacement engine case. I don't know if any of you have got a knackered engine. I don't need the internals, I don't need the head, I don't need the pistons, I just need a case. Or I get a replacement engine and then I just either strip this or keep it for spares. Don't want the expense. I don't mind the time. Actually, if I could get hold of an engine case to strip this down and transfer everything over into a replacement case, I don't mind doing that. Actually, that's a challenge I'm willing to take on board, and I could make it better, and I could clean the case up better, and I could sort out a few things that I'm not entirely happy with. So there is an opportunity to make this better, but it is not what I had in mind. It's not my plan. So on that note, I'm going to say that's all for me today. I'm going to take a moment and consider what I do next, start searching around for cases, and we'll take it forward from there. On a positive note, and there is a positive note, I've had a phone call to say that the work I had carried out on the scrambler is complete and I can pick it up tomorrow. So at the very least, in the next upload, you should see a successfully combined CB front end to an CB frame to an XL front end. Okay, well on that note, bye for now guys. Thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.